Hey y'all, Adventure Brad here, and I've kind of been curious on how waterproof this Ruger 1022 is, so we're working on finding out. Let's get it all the way in there. Yeah. And some ammo too, so come along for the ride.
She said I'm rusty. Feel the same. She said I'll hold out to win the game. No matter how hard.
Alright, well this is my 1022. So no, I'm not going to be dragging it through the mud or doing anything crazy like you see, but I'm definitely running it through the ringers. I fired it last night, a couple hundred rounds. I left it dirty with this calling in mind because it rained like heck today. So yeah, I did a little time lapse leaving it in the rain. I didn't do anything special to it, just kind of the normal way I did it after running it in the rain, or shooting it last night so it was dirty. Ran it in the rain, didn't clean it, drug it out here, just dumped that water on it. That was just like the hardest water in the nation is what I just dumped on it. Some pretty nasty water where I'm at right now, in the Southwest. But it's, yeah, I just wanted to find out what the dandy was and how truly all-weather this thing was. And also my ammunition. So I took 4 types of ammunition: Browning, CCI Blazer, Aguila Supersonic, and Federal bulk box. So I took the 4 last night, dumped them in some of that super hard water. And then today when it started raining, I put it outside in a tray and added some rainwater, shook it all up. So now we got that 10 rounds of each. We're going to load those up and see how this thing shoots after doing all that swimming. On a precautionary note, safety, going to make sure the bore's nice and clean. I got no liquidies in there. We don't want any liquidies in there. And we're going to make sure the action's free of water because we don't want it to hydrolock. I am not a professional. Do not try this at home. Leave it to Adventure Brad to do the dangerous stuff for you. Separate these out, load them up. Like I said, I got 10 rounds of each. Sit in for, yeah, 25, 26 hours now. So yeah, still tastes like lead. Let's do this. Alright, we're not here to try to prove how bad of a shot I am. Just see if the old Ruger here will function wet. I got loaded up into it first. The Federal bulk box that I buy all the time. I'm going to check for old Sport Safe right into the sun. Yep, barrel's all clear. Just again, one more time on camera for you guys. So yeah, Federal bulk box. We got 10 rounds loaded up into it. We go ahead and just... yeah, run through them real quick here. Oh. Looks like we made it through without any issues. It's a Federal bolt box, swimming for a day of work. Let's go for, next up on the list here, CCI Blazer. I love this stock because I can just pull right into it. Bamski. These guys, so yeah, just fresh out. I just threw them on the towel like you saw there. I didn't get them all wet. So let's see. And all these run good. I don't, every 1,000, I might get 1 or 2 that just don't fire on me. I don't really worry about it for as cheap as this ammo is. And this stuff all shoots pretty decently for me. So yeah, CCI Blazer. Alright, another 10 of them went off, no problem. So let's go to Aguila Supersonic. Supersonic. I don't like this mechanism. I haven't decided if I want to mod it yet. The action release on the 1022, yeah, I don't like it, but I like factory mechanics. So yeah, Aguila Supersonic. Alright, well, that stuff looks like it's fairly well sealed. And last up is probably what I consider the junk of it all would be a yellow and black box of Browning bolt. Alright. Sometimes I learn I can't count very well. You guys noticing that? So yeah, there we go. Let's take this thing back to the house. I probably shouldn't have done that with it warm. Let me put it back together, let it cool all down in this configuration. But let's take it back to the house, take it apart, and see what effect all this abuse we've done on it has given it. Yeah, let's go. I did drive all the way out here, so might as well mark the prairie dog for a minute. Get a little more testing of this whole watery thing. Yeah! Wet, baby! The one thing I am noticing, condensation's building up, just on top of there. I don't oil the heck out of this gun, not really at all, but I do kind of wipe it with a rag, but just because, like, look at all that condensation just building up. Ooh, there's frogs out here. But yeah, lots of condensation is just kind of generally building up. And the other thing is the sling is all wet. I don't kind of gets funky, you know, the arms getting all wet and all that. But if you're out hiking in the rain and you're doing stuff, you know, that requires you to be your gun, wet, rain, and all that, it's least of your worries. It's just kind of me whining right now. So, back at base here, and just before we go get tearing into this thing, I wanted to say I'm sorry if I disappointed you with no Glock style, drag it through the mud, super duper, bomb it, freeze it, do whatever kind of crazy stuff. I'm not sponsored. This is my gun. I wanted to expose it to real life circumstances and situations, kind of, well, the extreme end, if not typical. Not, I wasn't typical, but likely for me. Say I'm out camping, I get it wet, I'm hiking through the bush, that sort of thing, and I'm out for a couple of days, and the thing gets wet, and I need to use it. How worried am I going to have to be about it? Is the thing going to rust to death? Is it going to be alright? Can I just keep an eye on it, keep the grit out of it, and be cool? You notice I didn't run any dirt through it. No, I didn't want to take the tolerances out of my gun. I just wanted to see kind of really what it would do rust-wise and how it would function wet. So anyways, with that being said, let's tear into it. Go ahead and... it's childproof. Oh, I got my little tether here. Speaking of that, I have this that I have in the barrel to kind of keep brush out when I'm out hiking and stuff in the woods. And then I have this nifty little plug that I made up here that sticks down into the... where I don't know the receiver, the front of it here, where the barrel goes in to the chamber, or makes the chamber. Yeah, I try to plug that off, and then now with the action shut, I could. The thing is fairly well sealed from sticks and loose twigs and debris and stuff from getting into it. So, on the barrel, don't know how well you guys can see. And for me, I see a little bit of moisture in that. Let's go ahead and run through the trusty dusty snake here. Just run it through dry without lubing her. I really do like these bore snakes. They're quite handy. Though I don't know who shoots a 40-inch bore or something. I wish they kind of came with 2 different leader sizes. But they're pretty handy. I'm going to pull that through, make sure there's no knots in it. Don't hit yourself in the face with it. Oh, dang. It's actually a thing of beauty looking down that bore and the rifling and all that. It's kind of like a kaleidoscope or something like that. But anyways, we got that apart. Let's go ahead and pull a foregrip of the stock off. This out of the way here. Alright, it's definitely wet up in there. It's got some moisture, but I don't see, I see a little tiny bit. It's kind of hard to see in there. Don't want to hold the thing any closer because it's actually this camera that I'm using doesn't focus close. So it looks like there's just a little bit of water in there. I'll wipe it off. Out here in the desert, it'll dry out pretty quick. I'll go here in a minute and use the compressor and blow it all out and cleanly, thoroughly dry it. Make sure she's all happy, snappy. But while we got you guys here, let's just go over it and see what's in it. So our mags, these are pretty simple. There's just a coil spring in there, or not a coil spring, a round spring. It's coiled, but they don't call it that. The rotor, it's plastic, and the lips, they're metal, but they're composite, so I'm not super worried about them rusting. Even in the war spot, you don't see anything really going on there. And like I said, I fired this yesterday, a couple hundred rounds, and it was all happy-dappy. Put it away dirty last night. You can see there's still some moisture on the one magazine here. But I put it away last night dirty. I don't like to do that, but the intention of letting it go through that rainstorm today. Did that. And didn't do any cleaning and just kind of have it here and now. And again, the strap's all wet. So I think the stock of mags and all that are fine as long as you dry them out if you're in a wet country like the boiler room or something like that. But I think this thing is going to be all right. One cool little bonus feature about this stock is there's this sealed compartment in here. She dry, so that's pretty cool. Right now I just have a wet or oil rag to kind of be able to wipe things down when I'm out and in the bush kind of situation. I would like a small bore snake to put in here. Bore snake people. Because a regular one doesn't fit. Even my cut down 2/3 size one doesn't fit. But a sweet small bore snake in there to fit. I think I'm actually going to leave this off because there's moisture around the O-ring there. Let it dry out real good. Pull my... Get out of there. My oil rag out. So yeah, we'll let that dry out. But I should probably throw a set of earplugs in there because I really do like my hearing. Go ahead and pull the receiver here. I apologize if I'm using the wrong verbiage or wordage for what I'm doing here. But yeah, so look at that. She's kind of wet in there. Like, wet. Like, you wouldn't want to leave it like that. It would get funky. With all the water and moisture on over this thing, like I said earlier, you definitely see and down in there, all that water. That's plastic. That shouldn't really affect it. Let's get this out of the way here. The oil's kind of rose to the top or shown up or, made itself known more presently. Because like I said, I only wiped this gun down with an oil rag. So let's pull the main, I guess they would call this group apart. The receiver. I really do like how the simple N22 is takedown. Make sure the hammer's back and cocked. If you guys do the super secret storage technique, if you don't know about the super secret storage technique, you're going to need to check out my video on 1022 tips and tricks. Alright, so there, Bamski. She's apart. Don't ever let your hammer go forward. And there's definitely some water in there. But it's not bad. I'm not seeing no rust anywhere. Just besides that little bit that was on the barrel. You gotta kind of hold your mouth just right to get the... Always make sure the buffer pin's out. And this is a finger mouse trap if you're not careful, but you gotta... This seems to be the best technique I've come up with. Gotta just get it. Dang, guys, I'm kicking my butt, huh? Normally not this bad. What's up? I'm sure some of you are laughing at me right now. You just do it like this. Oh. There she is. Alright. Get this all apart here. So yeah, I got some water on the spring, but I can't see any rust. Bolt. You don't see any rust. I don't see an issue. The firing pin is mild steel, and then the little ejector spring there at the front of the bolt should probably... Let's go and take all that out right now. So let's see, I need a little screwdriver. I'm going to put all this in here before it ejects itself and hits the floor, and Venture Brad becomes Venture Mad. Or Venture Bummed. So anyways, pull this ejector out. You gotta pull spring bob back out of the way. Spring in the pin. And then you gotta whittle the ejector, that thing out. That's like, I guess, one of the things that people break on here, and that's what you'll break if you don't have the bolt back when you take the 1022 takedown apart. So yeah, I'm not seeing much water on that spring. It's a fairly long spring. Leave that out so it could dry. There was a little bit of water there on the ejector thing. Yeah, so there's definitely moisture in here. And it's dirty, but there's probably seen 300 rounds, about 200 last night, and another 100 tonight. So, yeah, not bad at all. Continuing on. Yeah, there's water in the receiver there. But no rust. This is aluminum, so it shouldn't rust. It's just gonna stain with my horrible fingerprints on here. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull apart. I don't have much room on here. Set this to the side. Let's pull this bad boy apart. So the way you do that is you get your little screwdriver back here. And there's a little spring up here at the front. The way I'm going to do this is you just want to hold that spring so it doesn't go flipping out on you. That guy there, pop forward. The secondary ejector part, or part of the, I guess this one kicks the shell casing up, and then that other one hooks it and flings it out. Yeah, it's wet on the top here where it runs against the bolt. you can see it's got some little bit of wear on it after this gun has a few thousand rounds in it. I actually took it apart and kind of sanded the top edge there, and I put a light coat of paint, and obviously that's worn away. But it runs there, so I feel that it should be fine like that, or keep rust at bay. Again, this is a real life situation for me. I'm not going for extreme and leaving this thing in this condition for a while. Today I was already all kind of panicking, but I wanted to give it an honest try, and I'm sure you guys wanted to know, so I figured worth everyone ruining their gun, I'll give it a shot with mine. So, top pin out with that spring, bottom pin out, and that gets the little bolt keeper thing out of the way here. Oh wait, not a super pro on this. You gotta push the little mag holder back so you can get the mag release plastic, and that's just plastic and it's wet, so I'm not worried about it being wet. Spring for the mag holder inner spoolie shafty thing is like everything else, wet, and showing a light coat, because I don't oil the gun, but I do kind of wipe it down with an oily rag. CLP break free. I just love the stuff. I think a lot of people do. And then I wipe it back off with a clean rag, but inevitably it gets dirty. So yeah, the little bolt holding back thing. I radiused the edge of it. I think if you guys saw my other video on, kind of the do it all purposeness of this gun, I was kind of griping about that. So I did radius the edge of this, and I'm much happier with it. I just painted it with some model paint that I had laying around, and it seems to be wearing all right. Much better than I expected. So yeah. Continuing on. Now we have, it's falling apart. It's one thing about these all held together with pins, they fall apart quick. The spring that flings the hammer forward, this is an important spring. And the hammer and the little spring here for that holds tension on the bolt annoyer thing. Yeah, everyone's annoyed by that. If you've had a stock 1022, this is annoying. And yeah, that little action thing, they cut the top of that out. I don't like modifying my guns. With especially any trigger, it makes so much sense, especially since when you're fumbling with the thing, and it always tends to be a fumble. It's much safer to have a gun do what you intend it to do. It's like a sharp knife. It cuts what you want. It doesn't slip off and cut you. But I really want to do one, but it just doesn't seem. I like leaving things alone. But anyways, I digress. Hammer, it's some sort of composite thing. It's fine. I don't see any where it runs against the sear. I don't see any rust or anything that I'm really worried about. And that's somewhere that would be high wear. I'm not sure what this is, but it's some sort of metal composite. Just tastes like CLP. So yeah, final little pin here that holds the trigger out. When you do this one, you have to kind of hold back on the little returny pin thing to take some pressure off of it. And then trigger, the little reset mechanism thing, and that was the pin. All come out the top. I'll set this down here. So yeah, the sear, the little trigger reset bit, and the spring. Even where it kind of wears against the side of the trigger, I don't see any issue. The trigger, again, here is just classic trigger, so we're not going to have a rust or a corrosion issue there. The sear, yeah, I don't see anything to be concerned about. I'm not going to pull the... Oh, that was just the little trigger return thing. And springage. Not going to pull the... I guess I should because it's that wet. So you had to take the safety out. You just give it a twist sideways. You you got to kind of like wiggle it as you twist it. Most of the time right in the middle works. Get it sideways and then push her out, taking note of the direction. And that's how you go to Mad Brad, because I totally meant to have my hand over that. There's a little detent in the spring, and they just went across the room. So I'm going to go see if I can find those real quick. Alright, well, I found the spring.
Woohoo!
Overall, I don't see any reason to be concerned. I'm pretty stoked on actually how well this thing is performed. There's no visible signs of rust. You know, like cheap low-end metal would rust right off. You could get anything to rust with enough work and effort. Even stainless will rust. Like I said, there's this little slight bit of little something down there that kind of, has me worried. I'm not sure what was up with that. Maybe some oils with my skinnage, or I don't know, got into there and kind of left a mark last time. Yeah, I don't know. The thing's sexy, ain't it? I want to thank you guys for watching my 1022 Will It Swim video. Remember, keep your guns clean and your powder dry. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of this cool stuff, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's do some more of this.